Should I have my hair like this or sleek back like this? I can't decide. What's up, gang? Welcome back to Pretty Girl Gang TV, where we do nothing but conduct pretty girl business. Okay, it's your girl Jeanina here, and I am back with another video for you guys. So on Instagram, you guys have been lately hitting me up saying like, hey girl, what foundations are you wearing in this video? What foundations are you wearing in this picture? Because I do not put down the foundations that I have on my face or anything, as a matter of fact, in the description box down below with my videos, unless I'm doing a review on it, which I should start doing. You know what? I think I'm gonna start doing that. It's a good idea. So anyway, you guys are chiming on my Instagram stories, asking me what foundation I'm wearing in this video or in this photo. And I decided to put up a little poll on my Instagram story asking you guys if you wanted to know what foundations were currently in my rotation as of now, as of like right now in this season that I am in life, okay? And surprisingly, 100% of you said yes, which was a complete surprise to me, girl, because normally when I hold Instagram story polls, there's always naysayers and always yeses. So there's always like kind of a split opinion, because you know everybody has their opinion. I feel like most of you like my reviews and my fashion hauls better than you like videos like this, so I normally don't do videos like this. But 100% of you said yes, that you wanted to know what foundations are currently in my rotation as of now. I am going to give you guys my list of foundations that I am currently using right now in my life that are currently my favorite foundations. I have broken these up into sections, girl. I'm going to show you guys the full coverage, full glam beat foundations first. Okay, you know we like full glam on this channel, full faces, cake faces on this channel. Second category that I'm going to show you guys is going to be my medium buildable to full coverage foundations. These foundations I typically will use if I want to build up foundation coverage, or if I just want kind of an everyday medium coverage soft glam look, girl, okay? The third category I'm going to show you guys are all the foundations that I consider sheer coverage foundations, girl. Now these foundations are more sheer coverage, kind of light makeup. It can also be used for my no makeup looks. You guys know I love the no makeup looks when I take pictures and things like that. So if you guys are interested in seeing that, keep on watching. Hey guys, so jumping straight into this video, you guys know that I have tons and tons of foundations, okay? I have done lots of foundation reviews on my channel, and I also have done some like honorable mentions of foundations in some of my videos. I also just did a soft glam tutorial, or my version of soft glam, and I did mention and do kind of like a little mini review of a foundation that I just picked up, because I did purge maybe 2 or 3 of my foundations in my makeup declutter thing that I kind of went through early 2020. So I have just been collecting so many foundations. I also have another foundation that I picked up that I'm gonna do kind of like a mini review on in a tutorial for you guys, so stay tuned for that. But I have tons and tons of foundations, girls, so we can't get through all of them because of course we will be here on YouTube forever, fam. So in each category, full coverage, medium coverage, and sheer coverage, I'm just gonna share with you guys my top 3. I think in my full coverage I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 of them that I currently am using a lot as in full coverage section, and then I'll just throw in some little honorable mentions so we won't be here all day, okay? I am excited. Are you guys excited? I love foundation. So starting with the full coverage, okay? The first foundation that I am going to show you guys that is currently in my rotation is the Juvia's Place I Am Magic foundations. I have a big smile because I have these foundations on right now on my face. I love this foundation. This is definitely full coverage foundation, girl. I have a review on my channel that I did when I was first starting out my YouTube channel with these foundations, so go watch that if you haven't watched that. But these by far are like kind of my favorite full coverage foundations. They're very affordable. I believe they're $16 each. I have 2 because you guys know I like to mix foundations. If you don't know, I like to mix my foundations when I do not have my correct shade or when I can't find my exact match. I also like to get two just because, you know, I get darker in the summer and lighter in the winter, so that way, you know, I can kind of play with the foundations. Now I have them in the color Kampala, and then I have it in the color Havana. Now Kampala is almost my exact shade. I just feel like the undertones aren't right. So Havana's a little lighter and it has those warm golden undertones that I love so much. So when I put these two together, boom, this happens, okay? A perfect match, girl. But this foundation is definitely full coverage. It's like a velvety demi matte. When Juvia's Place came out with these foundations, girl, I knew I was gonna pick it up. Juvia just has a soft place in my heart, girl. Like, I feel like I just can't get rid of any of her makeup, and her makeup is just consistently good. It's consistently affordable, okay? These are actually made in Italy. I don't know if you guys pay attention to the foundations, but I pay attention to where they're made, and they're actually made in Italy, so it's pretty fancy, okay? The price point is on point, girl. $16. Who could not like foundation that's $16? That is actually good, because most of the foundations I have are pretty high-end, and they're like over $40, so $16 is good. Like I said, this is considered a demi matte, but it is full coverage, girl. Like, literally 1 or 2 drops can take care of your full face. This foundation, if you're not careful with this foundation, it will become really cakey. But it is matte, but it's considered a demi matte, so it's like a soft velvety matte. It just melts right into your skin. It just looks very nice. It covers every single imperfection. Like, this foundation, girl, right here, this is the go-to foundation. Moving on to my next full coverage foundation, girl, and it is the Morphe Fluidity Foundation. Now, this foundation was dragged, girl, and I didn't appreciate y'all dragging my Morphe foundation, okay? I actually picked these up when it launched. I believe these foundations are $17 or $18, which makes it really affordable as well as Juvia. And you know me, girl, I'm all about affordable and coupon codes, okay? I do love high-end things, but I love to save my coin too, honey. I'm trying to start a business, okay? So I do like to save my coin. And Morphe has like affiliates and coupon codes, girl, so extra 10% off is okay with me. But this Fluidity Foundation, girl, I love this Fluidity Foundation. Now, this foundation is infamous because, like I said, it was dragged. It was dragged because of the shade range. They came out with 60 shades with some weird undertones, but I ended up finding my shades. I have both shades, F3 1 to 10, which is this one right here. And this one is a perfect match for me, girl. The only thing wrong with this one is the undertone. It's like a neutral undertone. It pulls a little olivey and neutral on me, so I have to add this. But if this didn't have neutral, if this had like golden warm undertones, girl, it would be absolutely perfect. I mean, the color is perfect, but I just don't like my foundation to look flat. I feel like that's what neutrals do. They make it look flat, you know. So I add a little bit of this into it, and this one is F390, so I have the shade F3 110 and F390 right here, and F390 just gives me the best amount of warmth. Here are them up close. This is the F390, and this is the F3 110, and as you can see, this one is definitely warmer than this one. Now, this foundation I really like. It is definitely full coverage, but if you are a dry skin girl, this ain't gonna work because this foundation is really drying. I normally use mattifying primers prior to putting my foundation on, but when I use this one, I don't. I kind of use a moisturizing primer, or I'll use a moisturizer, because this is definitely going to dry you out. It's definitely gonna go over every single imperfection, but it's gonna be very dry. So for the dry skin girls, I don't know, girl, but for the oily girls, this is a safe haven right here. For the oily girls, this foundation also seems to last really long on me, and I don't know if it's because it's just very, very matte and very, very drying, so it just happens to mesh well with my oils. It takes a while for my oils to break from this foundation, so I really love this foundation. I use this foundation all the time. My next full coverage foundation, girl, is everything. Okay, this is the ultimate foundation. This is like my ultimate favorite foundation, girl. If I was going on a special trip, girl, or if you asked me if I can only carry one foundation, it would be this foundation. That is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. Girl, this is by far the best foundation, I think, for oily skin. This foundation is claimed as long wear, and girl, let me tell you, it is long wearing. I have the shade Rich Chestnut 5C1, and then I have the shade Rich Caramel in 5W2. And Estee Lauder doesn't really have a perfect match for me, so that's why I have the two right here. But girl, this foundation is the best foundation I've ever had. Like, that's on period. Estee Lauder did really good when they came out with this foundation. It's also an OG. I've also had this foundation for a really long time. This is actually, I think, my 4th bottles because I continue to buy these foundations over and over again. Estee Lauder never disappoints me with this foundation, okay? The long wear on this foundation is crazy. I think it claims to be 16-hour wear. I'm pretty sure you can wear it longer than that. Now, I don't know who wears foundation for 16 hours or 24 hours, girl. I know I don't. At the most, maybe like 9 or 10 if I'm having a long night at my other job, okay? But other than that, like, I don't know who does that, but I'm pretty sure this foundation will last. Like, let me tell you about this foundation, girl. I have literally worn this foundation in the water and it did not budge, okay? So this is definitely long wear, ride or die foundation. Right here, my absolute favorite. The next full coverage foundation that I'm riding hard for, girl, is the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Foundations, and I have 2 shades in it. Also, I have the shade Gingerbread 430N, which is this one here, and I have Cinnamon 440G, which is this one right here. Now, Huda Beauty came out with this foundation, and I was really intrigued about it because she did it right. I feel like she came out with all the shades that she was supposed to, girl. There are multiple shades, especially for brown girls. The only thing about this foundation that gets it dragged is the scent. Now, the scent doesn't bother me, but a lot of people cannot do fragrance in their makeup products, and I feel like she should have kind of considered that before she put out this foundation with scent. But I get it. I feel like when you add scent to foundations and to, like, you know, lotions and makeup products, it reminds me kind of like a high-end foundation. I feel like Dior and I think YSL, their foundations have like a smell, and it kind of, you know, gives off a luxury kind of feeling or appearance. So maybe that's what Huda Beauty is trying to do, because Huda Beauty is pretty expensive, girl. Like, her eyeshadow palettes are like $65, $68, girl. So maybe she's just trying to make her brand appear to be a, you know, high-end brand, which I believe it is. It is a high-end brand. This is definitely full coverage, girl. Full coverage beat down. A few drops of this and it'll cover everything. It covers all of your hyperpigmentation. When it comes to oil, I feel like this foundation breaks my oils a little faster. I don't know why. I don't know if it's fragrance or, you know, whatever the formula is, but it will last a while. I think at the most, this foundation lasts maybe 5 or 6 hours on me if I don't wear a mattifying primer, which I don't like to do because this foundation is also kind of drying. Even though it's kind of like velvety soft, I feel like it's a little drying for me. And so I will kind of put a moisturizer or like a moisturizing primer on, and then I'll put kind of the mattifying primer on the parts where I get mostly oily before I put this on. But for some reason, this foundation only lasts maybe 5 to 6 hours on me, but I still like it. I still love this foundation. I ride hard for this foundation, okay? I have 2 honorable mentions with this full coverage section, and the first one is going to be the Smashbox Studio Skin Full Coverage 24-Hour Foundation. Now, I did a review on this on my channel, okay? And let me tell you, this foundation is definitely full coverage, girl. It also contains some really cool ingredients. I don't remember the other one, but I remember the kaolin clay, which makes it very matte and drying. That's going to prevent your oils from coming through. So if you are an oily girl, this is the ticket right here. I am in the shade 4.05, and it actually has peach undertones. So I just have one shade in the Studio Skin foundation, and this foundation matches me perfectly. The only thing about this foundation and why it's an honorable mention is that it's super duper drying, girl. I have to put on a moisturizer and then a primer before I put this on. Like, if you guys watched the video that I did when I reviewed this, I didn't even set this foundation with powder because it was just really super drying and it was just like on my skin, okay? It matches perfectly, it covers everything, it's full beat, But if you're a dry girl, this I don't know about, okay? You would have to really prep your skin first before you put this on. But I do like this foundation, and that's why it did make it into my honorable mentions, okay? So the next category is my medium coverage foundation. This is for my medium buildable to full coverage girls, okay? And the first one I'm gonna mention is the NARS Natural Radiant Long Wear Foundation. Say that 5 times fast. Okay, I still can't understand why NARS named this foundation so long. Like, why do brands name their foundation such long names? Anyway, this is by far my favorite medium buildable full coverage foundation. Now, I think this is just classified as full coverage. I'm not sure, it doesn't say on the bottle, but to me this is a medium to buildable full coverage. You can definitely build this up to full coverage, but I use it more for like medium to buildable coverage, and this gives me flawless looks. Most of the time when you guys see me, I'm wearing this foundation, especially when I'm doing like soft glam looks. I'm wearing this foundation. They did recently expand the foundation range for this launch too. Also, they expanded the sheer glow, and that's when I decided to pick up more colors. So at first I was using this color here, Catacatas. And then I decided to pick up Cadiz because in the winter months I get a little lighter. I have been using the 2 of these together and it has been perfect, okay? So the shade range is not only bomb on this foundation, but this foundation is also flawless, okay? Much like the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush foundation, that's what this reminds me of. It reminds me of the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush foundation. It's very light. You cannot even feel this on your skin, and that's what I like about this the most. You can't feel this on your skin. It's very light, it's very airy, and it just looks flawless every single time. No matter what I'm doing, like I can always count on NARS for the looks, okay? The next medium buildable full coverage foundation that I really, really like, that I have been reaching for a lot lately, girl, especially when I'm on the go, is from Mented Cosmetics. And this is their foundation right here. Their foundation is just called Mented, okay? And they are foundation sticks. I actually have 3 colors here. I have the color T20, which I just picked up. This is how the color looks. I'll show you guys. It's actually a little lighter. I decided to get a lighter one because normally I will mix these 2 colors together. This is T40 and this is T30. This is T40 and this is T30. Typically, I would mix those 2 colors together and it makes my perfect match. But lately, since I'm on the East Coast now and it's winter time, this is my first like real winter girl, I have been getting lighter in the face. So I had to purchase that T20, which is just a tad bit lighter than T30. And I've been mixing the T20 with the T40. I know this sounds a lot, girl. Stay with me, okay? There is something about this formula that I can't put my finger on it, but it is so creamy. And I know a lot of people say that, oh, foundation sticks are creamy, but these are really, really creamy. These foundation sticks are also moisturizing, so I feel like these are really good for the winter time. So I've been using these a lot lately for like my wintry, dry combination skin. But the only thing about these foundation sticks, girl, are that they are expensive. I think these foundation sticks are $40 each, which I mean is pretty typical for high-end foundations. I do think Mented Cosmetics is kind of high-end, but the thing about these foundation sticks are they are very, very moisturizing, and they're kind of like a luminous finish. So if you're not a luminous girl and you're oily like me, you're probably gonna want to powder these down, and that's what I do. I will just powder these down a little bit because I feel like I cannot go out, even in dry skin mode, I feel like I just can't go out with just luminous foundation. So I'll just powder it down just a little bit. I definitely don't reach for these in the summer. It is a Black-owned brand, so the shade range is kind of catered towards more for brown and darker skin tones. And I feel like they get it right, girl. That's why I keep on purchasing this. These colors are perfect. The undertones are perfect. The formula is perfect, and it's buildable to full coverage. Like, you can definitely build these up to full coverage. Like, I have built these up to full coverage before, but with these, it's like you don't even need to, because they will literally cover everything, even in the medium coverage stage, okay? Before you get to more full coverage, these will still cover everything. So I really like these. I also like the fact that every time you do order one of these sticks from Minted Cosmetics, they give you a little sample case here, and that's how I was able to find the T20, the newer one that I bought. They give you a little booklet here, and these are all of their shades there, and that way you can, like, you know, pick some more shades out, and I really like that. I like when brands do that. My next medium buildable to full coverage foundation is some foundation sticks again, and these are the Juvia's Place foundation sticks. Are you surprised the shade sticks made my list, girl? So these made my medium buildable to full coverage list because these are so easy to use and they're very affordable. And like I said, Juvia's Place is always putting out some good makeup at affordable prices. But the reason why I reach for these a lot is because they're so convenient. I have so many colors now. At first I started out with 3, and now I have 4. So I don't know where I got so many colors. And why I have so many of these, you might ask? Because I actually use these to do my entire complexion when I'm in a rush, girl. So I have one for my complexion, which is Mozambique, this one here. I have one for my contour and bronzer, which is in the shade Tunisia. And then I also have 2 for my highlight. Now I started out with one with my highlight. The first one I started out with was Granada. If you guys watch my video on these, you will see. Now I have the shade Panama, and it's just a little bit light because you guys know I love me a super bright highlighted under eye, girl. But these are so good. They are buildable to full coverage. You can build these up to full coverage, girl, but I mostly use them for the medium coverage. They cover every single imperfection, and like I said, they're super easy to use, and you can basically use it to do your entire face in less than the time, girl. The highlighting, the contouring, the bronzing, the complexion, everything. So the Juvia's Place foundation shade sticks are the last on my medium buildable to full coverage category, and I have one honorable mention for that category, and that is the Bite Beauty Changemaker foundation. And this is a fairly new foundation, girl. Like, I just did a review on this foundation, I believe last month in January. If you guys haven't seen that video is up, and I did do a review, and this is considered just medium coverage, okay? But I feel like you can definitely build this up to full coverage, and I would consider this foundation, girl, to be an everyday foundation. It's under $40. They did have a ton of shades, girl, and I managed to just get one, so you know I found my perfect shade, and I am in the shade T110, and this is how it looks for that one. And I feel like also other shades could have worked for me. In the video, I did mention that 2 other shades would have worked for me in this foundation. This foundation is also a part of Sephora's clean makeup product, so it doesn't have any like harsh chemicals. It's all like clean makeup, so that's really good. I have been using this foundation quite a bit when it comes to like everyday makeup, and I really like this foundation a lot. On to the last section, which is the sheer light coverage foundations, girl. And my first sheer light coverage foundation that I have been reaching for is the NARS Sheer Glow foundations, and I have them in 2 colors. I mean, of course, girl, of course. NARS is NARS, okay? Are you surprised? One of their other foundations made it to the medium to buildable full coverage, okay? It's no secret, I love NARS. So this is the Sheer Glow foundation, and I do have them in 2 colors. This color is Bahia, and this color is in Tahoe. Now, Bahia is like my perfect match, okay? The problem is that it's just very neutral, and it pulls very just neutral and flat on me. So I throw a little bit of Tahoe in because it's like perfect warm color. You put these 2 together, boom, girl, it makes my melanin pop. The NARS Sheer Glow foundations are a little expensive. They're on the high end side. I think they're $44 each, if I'm not mistaken, or they might be $48 each. So buying 2 of these is kind of like, it's a pain, but I feel like it's definitely worth it, girl. When I want some sheared out natural makeup or no makeup looks, I do reach for these a lot. These are my go-to sheer coverage looks, okay? That's why they're #1 on my sheer coverage list. I love the formula of these. The only thing I don't really like about it is kind of the glowiness and the luminosity of it, because I am an oily girl. So I will typically reach for these more in the winter months. If I do decide to use these in the summer, I do powder it down just a tad bit. Not a lot, but I will powder it down just a tad bit, and I will prime with like a mattifying primer. The next sheer coverage foundation that I have been digging lately, girl, which is new for me, it is the Laura Mercier Flawless Lumiere foundation. Now, this foundation is actually considered, I think, medium to full coverage, girl, but I just recently did like a mini review on this foundation when I did my soft glam tutorial, or my version of soft glam tutorial, girl. And to me, this is pretty sheer coverage. Now, it could be full coverage on you girls, but I have like hyperpigmentation and acne. And in that video, I felt like I used quite a bit. I used like maybe 5 or 6 pumps of this in order to get like a kind of full glam look. So this is pretty sheer for me. I know this foundation is fairly new for me. I've only been using it for maybe about a month, but it's actually really good. And I have only one color, as you can see, so it's a perfect match for me. And I am in the color 5W1 Amber, and this is how the color looks. Now, this color is just perfect. It is the perfect amount of warmth and yellow undertones that I like. It is a radiant foundation, so it is luminous, but I do like the luminosity in this foundation. It's kind of more on the safer luminosity side for me. Compared to NARS Sheer Glow, I feel like that is like definitely glowy foundation. This one is also, but it's not that bad, and I feel like I don't have to powder it down that much. Now, because it is luminous, I do automatically powder it down just a touch, because personally, girl, I feel like I cannot go out with luminous foundations. I love the way it looks. It's a pretty look, okay, but I don't think I could just walk around a full day with luminous foundation. Now, if I were to just not powder it down, it would have to stay on for maybe 2-3 hours, maybe a little bit longer in the winter time, because my skin is kind of dry in the winter. But as far as just, you know, a full day, no, luminous foundations don't really work for my oily skin, but I love the way they look, I love the way they feel, and I love the way how this foundation goes on. It is flawless, okay, just like it says, it's definitely a flawless foundation. So I have been using this foundation a lot lately for the natural look. So sheer coverage foundation that I'm going to show you is not really a foundation. It is a tinted moisturizer, but it does give me some pretty good sheer coverage, and that is the Sephora Tinted Moisturizer right here, girl. I did do a review, and it is up on my channel. This is the color Tweed in number 12, and this is Sephora Collection Makeup. Now, this is a really good no makeup look product for me. Even though it's a tinted moisturizer, I feel like it gives me a pretty good amount of coverage. If you guys haven't seen this video, go ahead and check this video out. I did like a thorough review and a wear test on this thing, and it turned out pretty good. And also, this tinted moisturizer is a matte tinted moisturizer, girl. It's a matte tinted moisturizer. Okay, girl, we are coming to the very end of this video. Okay, I have one honorable mention for the sheer coverage section, and that is the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Foundation. And yes, I still have it in the box because it's Auntie Pat, girl, okay? It is high end. It is the most expensivest damn foundation I have in my collection, so I take very good care of this. I have the color Medium Deep 23. I did put this in the honorable mentions because I do like this foundation, but I don't like the fact that, for one, it's super duper expensive, okay? So I don't think I would be repurchasing this. But number two, it is very, very sheer. And I feel like when I did review this, it didn't give me as much coverage as I needed. And I know this is the sheer coverage section that I'm talking about. Okay, so sheer coverage is not really gonna give you a lot of coverage. But I feel like even the sheer coverage foundations gave me more coverage than this foundation. And this foundation is not even considered sheer. I believe this foundation was considered just medium to buildable, but this foundation is definitely sheer, girl. It's not medium buildable at all, at least for me. You might have a different opinion, but for me, this is very sheer. And that is the end of my video, guys. Those are all of my foundations that are currently in my rotation. There are going to be tons of new foundations probably coming out in 2020. And I cannot wait to add more foundations to my collection. There was a ton that came out in 2019, okay? So I am ready for the other ones to come out in 2020. Let me know what your favorite foundations are, girl. I probably already have it. These are just the tip of the iceberg, okay? I have so many foundations, it's not even funny. So let me know down in the comment section what are your favorite foundations and what foundations you're currently using. If you guys like this video, please give it a like, subscribe to your girl if you want to. If you want to, girl. And I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.